So I wanted to chat about purpose. The other day I was sitting with in the company of a lady, probably in her mid-50s, and she was saying, I'm 50 years old, and I wonder what my purpose is. I've never discovered what my purpose is. She says, I thought one day maybe that my purpose was to be a great artist or something like that, and I never accomplished it. She wanted to be a painter. She always felt that she was good at painting. She had a skill for it, but she never pursued it, and she felt like she had given up on her purpose. And so I've heard people talk, so then I've heard people speak about, when the words just don't come. When I've heard people speak about purpose, it's rather in a very superficial way, okay? It's almost like sometimes the feeling that I get is that a purpose for a lot of people means like that when you're gone, people remember you for something, You will leave what your unique purpose, what it was that your job or what you were called to do, or whatever that we can define what purpose means, is that you'll be recognized for something in particular, something very unique, etc., etc. And that I find is what people think is their purpose. And again, a lot of people might think that their purpose is something that, if they can find their purpose, maybe that to be like a singer, or an actor. And a lot of people feel that their purpose is what they can do for a living, okay? And it's funny, we don't ever talk about what purpose is in at school or going to high school or university and say, well, we say, what job would you like to choose from? What occupation? Where do you see yourself? Like, here's a list of things that you can choose from, And so some of us will say, well, my purpose is to be a doctor in life and to help people, okay? Which is fine, it's great. My purpose is to be a lawyer. My purpose to be an accountant, somebody in marketing or something like that. My purpose is to be a handyman, a carpenter or something, whatever it might be, a scientist. And yeah, okay, fine. But it's never really spoken about as purpose, more a career. It's more like, what do you think you're good at, and what do you think, can make you money, type of thing. What do you think you can enjoy? But it's not really so much what you can enjoy. It's almost like this is what you have to do. It's like it's life or death in a way. So and so what my point is that a lot of people I found over just my years is that your purpose often is in alignment with your career of what you do. Okay. And so maybe sometimes it's a religious figure. I don't know. My purpose is to be a rabbi or a priest of some kind or something or other. Or and stuff like that. And so maybe so. But I think again, that kind of purpose is very superficial, right? But most people are living on that kind of level, if you will. Or maybe so am I. For myself, I'd say we've got many purposes and more purposes in a way come about throughout one's lifetime, okay? I would say one of your initial purposes, because for myself, I don't know if it really makes sense that without this first purpose, without doing this first purpose, that you can have any other purposes. And that purpose is the alchemical process. That's the awakening process, the alchemical process of finding who you are, the stone, the lapis, if you will, getting rid of all that which is not about you, deconstructing who you are, right? And to be going into the ashes, in a sense, willingly, in a way, to be cleansed, to be purified, okay? Because we come into this world and we are conditioned to be something that we are not, beliefs to have that completely are not aligned with what we are about and who we are as a spiritual, human being, let's say, okay? And then we get conditioned and we get this narrative and identity just thrown onto us, okay? And then we get all muddled up. And we are playing to the tune of other people. We are dancing to the beat of other people's drum. And a lot of the time we are motivated. We don't know our own true motivations. We don't even know, we don't have an original thought. We don't even have freedom of choice, in a sense. We don't. We are conditioned, we are programmed, we are manipulated, whatever it is, in order to follow on a certain trajectory, a certain path. And then we get muddled up, and we get so far removed away from our own true nature, in a sense, and what we really came here to do, so far that we have no idea. So in other words, you've got to go through that process of awakening, of the alchemical process, of individualizing yourself, individuation, of finding who you are as an individual, away from the crowd, away from your conditioning and whatever it is. Okay, that is one of your highest, I would say is one of our highest purposes in this life. Is to stay true, and to find out what truth is and beauty, and who you are in that way. Honor that. And be true to who you are and go your own way. Okay, and I think that's and constantly throughout your whole life, and you'll be challenged throughout your whole life, right? There'll always be this force, unseen and sometimes very much seen, forces in this world that will try their damnedest and their hardest to try and reform you, and back into the hive mind, back into the matrix, back into the Truman Show. Okay, it'll try its darndest, all right, and and you'll be triggered a lot of the time, whatever it is. And so the purpose is to build a sense of self, or soul, if you want to call it, or individuation, who you are, to not be able to be sucked in or pulled in or manipulated or hoodwinked or something or other, pulled back into the matrix, into the Truman Show, right? And so into your unconscious, to become unconscious again, all right, to become unconscious again. You have to find your will of meaning, and your will of power, and your will of meaning, right? And you've got to find out what is meaning in your life, what is true meaning in your life, why are you here? The 3 questions: where did you come from? What are you doing? I think I'm going to mess this up. And where are you going, right? Or, I think the middle one is more like, what are you supposed to do? What's your job here? And where are you going, right? Eventually when you die, figure those things out. Where did you come from? I can't remember the middle one exactly, but you get the idea. The second question is, who am I? And those 3 questions, right? And what is your will? What is your meaning in life? What is your purpose? Right? That's what I'm saying, is that from a spiritual point of view, what is your purpose? It's not from I'm supposed to be a guitarist, I want to be a tattoo artist or something like that. It's not a career, it's got nothing to do with being, having a career. It's got nothing about, necessarily other people. I mean, that's secondary. The effect that your purpose has on other people, that's secondary. It's what have you come here to do. And one of the things I find, again, after the rejection of the matrix and the exiting of the matrix and throwing off the narrative of who you used to be in that identity and reinventing your true self, in a sense, after that, it's a relationship with yourself, which is probably, I would say, one's second purpose. I mean, is a relationship with yourself. All right. How do you take care of yourself? Right. Do you love yourself? Right. Do you value yourself? Right. How do you keep yourself out of your own harm's way? All right. Okay. What are you afraid of about yourself? Okay. There is that split, folks. It's strange, but I'm saying so let's just simplify it in that way, which is not very simple, but do you like yourself? Do you find value in who you are, right? Do you find that you're somebody worthwhile? And to you, and to yourself, are you proud of yourself? Okay. Are you in love with yourself? Okay, and it's if you're not, then you're in big trouble. Are you overly self-critical to an unhealthy degree? You've got to look at that stuff. Do you self-sabotage? Do you trust yourself, for crying out loud? Okay? Do you find beauty in who you are and the way you see the world and your relationships and what you bring to the world? Do you find that there's a beauty and there's a meaning to that? Okay? And so this is a lifetime of work and refinement and rediscovering, and then reincorporating what you find and discover about yourself and your potential, what lies within you, right? That's probably be the third one, is that what lies within you? What is inside? Okay, wherever it may be. Maybe it's not even in the body, maybe it's, it's beamed in from somewhere else. But what lies inside that can come out, that can, firstly, okay, on a physical level now, bring meaning into your life, value into your life, and that for culture and society, and for other people, and for humankind. What lies within? Then it can be maybe painting, poetry, dance, being a musician, an author of some kind. It's got to be something that's creative, and it's got to be unique. It can't be what anybody else. You can be singing like somebody else, but from what depths do you sing? What kind of heart do you sing? What words do you sing? What value? When I'm saying value, what meaning, beauty, and awareness and light, okay, are you bringing into the world through what lies within? Okay, like I'm saying, if you're a tattoo artist, okay, which might seem, what kind of art are you doing? What's the relationship with your clients, right? If you wanted to be a school teacher, I'm saying if you're a teacher for young children, are you encouraging them? Are you empowering them? Are you giving them meaning? Are you putting them into fear? Are you representing somebody who's mature and grown up and takes life seriously enough, and is well balanced and informs them of good virtues and whatever it is? Or are you doing the opposite? Do you see, if you're a teacher and you're just saying, you have to pass your grades in order to be somebody in this life, and that's all that matters, You know what I'm saying? And then if you don't pass your grades, if you don't get good marks, well, then you're just a burden to myself, because you're not making me look good, and to your parents, something like that. Well, the teacher says, you're teaching the child that they should always be self-doubting. They should always be in fear of a God that's going to strike them down or something like that. You can be a religious figure. You can be teaching a religion of some kind. But what you're doing is you're bringing more darkness, and you're projecting more, obviously, of your own darkness and your own confusion and your own narrative, and your own inauthenticity and your own fear and your own separation from who you really are onto the other person. So that's why I'm saying, in the first front, you've got to figure out what you are about. You've got to decondition yourself. You've got to break apart yourself completely, in a way, and you've got to rebuild up. You've got to get rid of that which is not what you are. You've got to chip away and get rid of that who you are, and connect with something that is real. And what is true and what is beautiful, that, and heal, obviously, in the healing process. And that way there's just no ways that whatever your purpose will be, whatever even your career path will be, if it's in true alignment, you will not be doing unnecessary harm to others, or to the earth, or to nature, or to humankind in the bigger picture. You won't be doing that, right? So I'm jumping around, but can you see what I'm saying? And you've got to find out, if you don't like yourself, right, then you've got to be careful, because then you can't really have a healthy relationship with other people. I really don't think you can. You really can't. It's just not possible, I don't think. And that's, a discussion for another time. So yeah, so that's purpose, folks, and it's deep and it's profound. And one of life's purposes is to grow, from a child into an adult as well, and the different seasons of life. And it's also one of your purposes, okay, is your own spiritual growth in relationship to your body and your age and your level of maturity. This is the thing, is that we sometimes think that we come here. Firstly, I just wanted to say the quote before I get into that, is that, like, again, how important it is to realize that what you don't bring forth from within will destroy you, really. But what you do bring forth from within will save you. And it's true. And in so many ways. Okay? So just bear that in mind in what we're just saying now. Okay? Which we can get into a little bit, come back to. But what I'm saying is that we come here onto earth, and we think to ourselves that it's like a holiday, in a sense. Okay? Like, you have choice, which you do. But what I'm saying is that you're also subject to certain destinies at the same time, right? Sometimes, we don't come in as clean slates. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes some of us come in with a purpose, let's say, of being a healer, let's say. Okay? I'm not talking about myself, because I don't consider myself a healer. But a job as a healer. And that's what you come in as to be. And you've got the skill for it, you've got the talent for it, you've got the sensitivity for it, you've got the spirituality for it, you've got the consciousness for it. It's in your nature. Okay? And so that is what you need to be doing. That is like when you sign up for a job. I mean, when you get a career job and you come for the interview, and then your first day of work, they assign you your job. Okay? What is your requirements? What do you do? You're working in this department, and this is your area of responsibility, and you need to oversee this and this and this, and etc., etc. You don't come into the office and be like, well, today I want to be in the marketing area, and then next week I want to be in logistics, and I want to be out on the street and driving, and being a salesman of some kind. And then, you understand, you come in with a set occupation, in a way, so to speak, okay, a set mission, if you will, and you got to find out what that is, okay, in a sense, and you got to live up to it. All right, you got to live up to it. You didn't. There is a boss, almost, in a way. There is that we didn't come here. We don't know what price we had to pay, like, to be on this ride, in a sense. Like, okay, this can get a bit more existential, or not. I mean, I don't know if it's existentialism, but you're employed. You're an employee of the universe, okay, and you have a job to fulfill, and a task to fulfill. And again, one of your tasks, and one of your jobs is to find your purpose, which I was saying is number one, and number two, find. That's your purpose. That's what your task is at hand. And then further and foremost, you have something that you are responsible for bringing forth into the world, right? You are held responsible for it, to do your job, right? To do your occupation in this world. Whatever that may be, you've got to figure out what that is. Okay, maybe it's a caregiver. Maybe it's making YouTube videos. Whatever it is, or Facebook groups or something, I don't know. But it's bringing light into the world. That's what I often find is one's true divine purpose. You're bringing light into the world. You're bringing awareness and consciousness into the world. You're bringing meaning and beauty into the world by what you are doing. And so that sounds all fine and dandy, and some of us say, well, that doesn't sound like a bad deal. But it might not be so easy. I mean, maybe somebody who is a public speaker, a motivational speaker, and for the love of you have a fear of speaking in public, you have I don't know, even when you grew up and you tried it at school, you were humiliated, and so you got a great sort of resistance towards it and fear and whatnot, and and so you have very high reluctancy to do it. And so you've got to overcome your fears about doing it. Not only that, but maybe there might be another option on that cards for you. Maybe, hell, you got somebody sees you and says, well, he's such a great motivational speaker, but we want you to come work for us in our marketing department because you seem like somebody who could really do good at sales, and we'll offer you a salary which, you could not refuse. So you'll be tempted, I'm sure many actors, I don't know, come to mind, and actresses get tempted all the time. Like they want to do a role, they want to do a movie that's really close to who they are and what they feel, passionate about. But then they get a movie offer which is a stupid, pathetic role, but the pay is 10 times, and so they opt for the pay, right? And so what I'm saying is that it won't necessarily be easy. I mean, take Eric Dubai, for example. Dubai, all right. He doesn't have an easy time. For those of you who don't know him, he's been on YouTube for a hell of a long time. He's been kicked off and banned and whatever it is, and he talks about flat Earth. Okay. Now I'm not getting into the whole flat Earth talk here, but for himself, he's absolutely What I like about Eric Dubé is his absolute conviction and passion and determination for what he feels is true. Whether it's true or not, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I admire the guy's tenacity, right, and conviction, and how he's willing to put it all on the bloody line. This dude is willing to put it all on the line. I mean, can you imagine how embarrassing it must be, let's just say, for his parents or his family or people that he knows in his life? I mean, he's completely isolated himself. He's one of the bigger figureheads on YouTube, not just on YouTube, on many forums that talk about flat Earth. And so he's well known, and he's dedicated himself to it completely, and he's willing to go on any radio shows. I mean, the guy has just done, not only on flat Earth, but done so many videos on for myself, I think, brilliant topics, on really amazing, just about the schooling system, about the Federal Reserve, about religion. It's an amazing, but I'm saying such a committed individual. But what is he having to put up with? He's putting himself on the line. Okay, I don't like to get into the idea that, well, you're going to be taken out one day, by if you piss off enough people, that you talk too much truth, then they'll silence you, type of thing. I don't like to think about those things or whatever it is. But take a guy like Bob Marley. Okay, Bob Marley, his life was threatened. He was shot at, and he got shot in the arm. And he still went on stage that night, and they said, well, you maybe wear a bulletproof vest. He said, no ways, that's going to affect the music. I need to be out there with my people, and I need to sing what I've come here to sing, and I need to talk the music, and share the word of God, which was Jah, basically, and that nothing will get in my way. And he did that, I mean, look at a guy like what's his name, from Braveheart, played by Mel Gibson. I don't even know if he was a true character, but I'm sure there were true characters like that as well. People that were born, certain type of leaders, okay, soldiers, warriors, right, that they felt that they needed to stand up for truth or stand up to protect their tribe or their community or something like that, and at the cost of losing their life. So sometimes you might also find that your purpose, or whatever it is, your task at hand, your potential, your gift, your blessing that you bring into the world, right, can put your life at risk. Okay? It can put your life at risk. And in some way or another, it's going to also affect your life. I look at a guy like Jordan Peterson, or I look at a guy like Dr. Gabor Mate, or even Manly P. Hall, or some of the really great minds, and for themselves, they've had to sacrifice a normal life in a way for the life that they have today. All right, and they're just busy non-stop. Right, they've just the sacrifice that they need to make, and they feel that it's necessary because, and there's many others out there. There's also many amazing people on YouTube that you can see the amount of work that they're doing and how it, they have to look at, obviously it serves them, it enriches their life, there's no question about it, but at the same time you can be sure that it's like, well, sometimes they'll probably just rather be, I don't know, reading a book or something, or spending time with their kids, or just pretty exhausted, and people online on YouTube making videos, and people publicly speaking and whatever it is. It's like they're just not in the mood, but they feel compelled to do it. They feel compelled to do it. And so it's a lot of the time your gift and your blessing and your purpose, or what you're bringing into the world, your message, let's say, or as my friend Paul says, your massage, which I like that, is it's going to be compromising in some ways or another. It's going to be a great sacrifice, right? It's going to be a great sacrifice. I'm sure many of the greatest of minds, were, and greatest of creators and imaginators and whatever it is, really what the price they had to pay in order to bring out their message and their purpose into culture and society in the world. So yeah, folks, just closing up on that long-winded discussion. If you don't know what your purpose is, or something or other, like, geez, just grow up. If you're listening and you made it this far in this video, you know what your purpose is. You know what you've come here to do. You know what it's about. You do. You do. And whether it's just being a mother, in a sense, because some of us are very limited. Some of us are in wheelchairs. Some of us have got chronic pain that it's really heavy tasks. Or what are we going to bring to the public stage? Not much. Really. But it's the people in our lives. And I'm saying on this level of just bringing something out of who you are, whatever your purpose, it's the message, it's the representation, it's the energy, it's the love, it's the light that you bring into other people's lives. And it could be just your grandchildren, if you're a grandmother or something like that. It doesn't have to be this huge giant, and never, heaven forbid, it doesn't have to be that at all. It doesn't have to be that at all. It's unique to each individual person. And some people, maybe it's more that there's more self-growth that's taking place in this lifetime. There's more, self-refinement and whatever it is, than rather focusing so much on their gift and skills and ability and that sort of purpose that they're bringing out into the world. Maybe it's just an inner focus and it's an inner healing. They're doing a hell of a lot of inner healing, When we think about the shaman, it sounds cool to be a shaman, but the shaman has got the most intense job out of everybody in the village. There's no question about it. I think that one of the words, the translations of shaman, means he who knows the underworld. Jeez. To be a shaman and having to deal, my goodness me, it's not, now we use that term loosely, I saw, what's his name, from Ultra Spiritual, I think he is such an amazing guy. I forgot his name now, can you believe it? But he spoke about being a Craiglist shaman. And JP, his name is, what a wonderful soul. Hey? He speaks about being a Craiglist shaman and how we use the word shaman today, whatever it is, or light worker. Okay, cool, be a light worker, be a light warrior, right? Or something or other. Be a shaman, be a guru, but take on the responsibilities that comes with, It really does. Don't just give yourself that as a title, which I'm sure none of you who have made it this far in this video are really interested in naming themselves or titling themselves in that way unnecessarily, if you will. Alright, folks, I think that says it all for now. Again, I appreciate you taking the time and helping me fulfill my, I would say, one of my purposes is doing these talks on YouTube. So if it wasn't for you folk out there, this wouldn't be happening. So thank you. And that's probably also another thing, is that we allow each other to manifest and radiate and bring out our purpose. You know? Alright. Much love. We'll chat soon. Take care.